Hello, I'm Emmeline.
And I'm Kindy.
And welcome to Stuff with Moms, a podcast about shows, stories, and enjoying life. So,
how was your week?
I went to New York City.
Yeah, you got some fun things to report.
I do. I have so many fun things. Oh, it was so great.
Okay, what did you do?
We went to a Yankees game, which was really fun. We bought Cracker Jacks. We went to Central Park, which is ginormous. Awesome. Like, so many acres. Like, you don't...
It seems to be small.
It does. It does. You look on a map and you're like, yeah, that's a teeny little piece of green. You're in it and you're like, this thing never ends. Like, we walked forever and we only got through a third of it. We went to Times Square. We went to Rockefeller Center. We ate some really good food. I had a delicious hot dog, some excellent pizza, a superbly wonderful cinnamon roll that didn't even have frosting on it. Like, and I didn't think that was possible. I was like, I love cinnamon rolls because I get to eat lots of frosting. But this cinnamon roll was just like cinnamon sugar on it. And it was perfect. Yep.
Oh, man.
But yeah, Rockefeller Center, we saw that area where they always have the skating rink and the big tree at Christmas time, but it's a roller skating rink in the summer. So,
oh, nice.
That was cool. We went to the 9/11 Museum, which was beautiful and excellent and highly recommended. If you are ever in New York City, listeners, please go there. It was awesome.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be like the one reason I'd go to New York. I have no desire to visit, but that I would go for that.
Yeah, it was great. We went to see Con the Musical, and it was hilarious. We got to meet the writer afterwards, which was really cool. He's a YouTuber called Brental Floss.
Okay.
But I
think I saw one of his videos and I was kind of shocked. Like, oh no!
Yeah, so we met him in real life. Nice guy.
That would be cool. What did you like about the musical? Was there anything that you were like, oh?
So I'm not the biggest of Star Trek fans.
No, okay.
But the audience was full of them. And even though I didn't understand all the jokes, it was hilarious. Like, the acting was fabulous. And it was off-Broadway, which means the theater could fit 100 to 500 patrons. That's what off-Broadway means. And Broadway is 500 or more. If theater can fit that many. That's what off-Broadway and Broadway means. Off-Broadway means less than 100. It's a tiny theater, so less than 100 seats. So now there's a little terminology for you.
Yeah, I had no idea the theater was that big. More than 500 people?
Yeah, if a theater holds that many, and it's in New York City, it's Broadway. So
that is weird that is the thing.
It doesn't have to be on Broadway. Most of them are, but it just has to be in New York City. So
yeah, okay, interesting.
Then we went to a jazz club. Oh my gosh, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And then what else did we do? We went on this walking tour called the Big Onion Walking Tour.
Okay.
And they do lots of different ones. They just take like these people earning their doctorates in history and psychology and stuff. But they know all this information of the city. And you just go around and they give you like a tour of just history and all the things they know.
Yeah.
And it's the coolest
that's cool.
thing. Like, it was so good. We did the one in Greenwich and we learned so much about it. They have tons of walking tours, guys. So if ever you're in New York City, look them up. They have ones about historical people. You kind of can walk around where they lived. You can walk around different areas of the city. They have one that you can do like a food walking tour where you like sample the food. This is the one I wanted to do, but it wasn't available that weekend.
That would be cool.
So there's like, you go to different areas and sample all the different foods from the different cultures. And I'm like, oh, that would be awesome. But anyway, they have tons of tours, just different ones. And so look them up, do it.
So what were some of the things you saw on the tour? Where'd they take you?
We got to go to this park that they told us that it used to be a potter's field, which that's a potter's field is what they call a field where they bury people that can't afford a gravestone or a box to be buried in. They just go and they dig up a hole and put the body in.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So it used to be one of those because it was near the prison. And so a lot of inmates and the bodies are still in there, like buried in there.
They didn't like unbury them.
No, they just put dirt over the top of them.
They're like, you're still here. Oh my word.
There was a really cool tree in the corner that was huge around, and they call it the hanging tree because they used to hang people from it.
Oh, nice. Oh my gosh.
So that was interesting. We saw this tiny house that's like the tiniest house in New York City. It was 999 square feet because it had 3 stories. So it was like 333 square feet per floor. So just little house. It was owned by a famous poet, and it's for sale for $4.2 million. So if you want to buy the tiniest house in Manhattan, there you go. You can
millions of dollars. Oh my gosh. If you had that much money, you would find something bigger, probably. And I don't know.
But like the houses on either side of it are like, they look like giants compared to it. We saw the tiniest piece of private property in New York City. Yeah. It's this like 3x3x3 equilateral triangle owned by the Hess family estate. The city was like, you can just donate that to the city. And they were like, this family was like, we are not going to donate this. This is ours. And so they like tiled it off and put their name on it. Like,
oh my gosh, that's so weird.
You're not going to just donate it to you. So everybody else did, but they were going to stick it to the man, I guess.
Okay. Great onion walking tour. There you go. Awesome. Well, cool. Well, my week was not as thrilling.
Yeah, tell me about your week.
I had a bad mom moment where I just was not, besides all of us getting sick and getting over it, thankfully, I was heading to take my children to daycare. I had already gotten Emmeline strapped in, and I was eating string cheese, and I gave her about an inch, maybe smaller than an inch, but a little bit bigger than ½ inch size. And it wasn't like a little string. It was like
the whole chunk,
Yeah. Yeah, the whole chunk. And so I handed it to her thinking, she's learning to eat better, as in not shoving everything that is given to her in her mouth, which she does. So you kind of have to give her, little things,
parts,
one thing at a time. Yeah. So I was like, she's doing better. I'll just hand her this whole thing. I go over to help Anders get buckled into his seat. And then I hear choking sounds. I look over and she's having a hard time. And she's chewing on it, swallowing it, choking on it, getting it back out of the back of her throat, chewing on it, getting it back. So it's like this process. And every time she gets it into the front of her mouth, I am trying to scoop it out before it goes back down her throat. And I'm not quick enough. This girl, her tongue is like a ninja. She is just getting it back there so quickly. So after like the 3rd or 4th time, I'm like, this is not changing. This is going to keep happening. She's just going to keep choking on this. So I just go in The last time I tried to get it from the front of her mouth, it goes in the back, and I'm like, we're just doing this. So I go in and I hook that thing. I go all the way in the back of her throat and I hook it out. And she started crying because that hurt, and just the whole experience was hurting her.
Aww.
And so I just felt awful and stupid. And why did I do the dumbest thing in the world?
You don't know till you do it. It's one of those things. You're like, why did I do that? But hindsight, 2020.
It really is. And so, but she was better. She just had to have a cry, and then she was fine, and we made it to daycare with no further injuries or incidences. So, but yeah. One thing I did notice this week, though, is there are different urgencies between a mother and a father, and I kind of hate it. So I'm out shopping. I've got Anders with me. It's taking longer. I asked Matt to turn the oven on to 375. He does. It's great, because I'm going to bring home a pizza to put in the oven and to start cooking. I get home, and Emmeline she has the worst bowel movements. They're hard. It hurts. She's just as miserable. So I get home and she's crying. She gets plugged up quick and super often. And so we kind of do like a butt suppository to kind of help wiggle things out. Mm-hmm. It doesn't help as much as I'd like, but whatever. That's another topic. And so I get home. So I'm soothing Emmeline. Matt gets all the groceries in the house, and then he's leaving the kitchen, and I'm like, he is not putting the pizza in the oven. What is he doing? So I go, what you doing? And in my head, I'm like, if this was me, like, this is urgent. And it's not. Like, we were fine. Nobody was starving. Emmeline was calming down. There is no urgency. But in my head, I'm like, what are you doing? That is not the steps you take. He came back into the living room and was going to sit down, and I go, hey, can you get the pizza in the oven? He's like, oh yeah. So to him, it was not urgent, but to me, it was urgent, because it's like, we need to eat. So we gotta get moving. So yeah, it's just, there's no right or wrong. It's just a difference. And it is night and day different. And it just blows my mind. And I'm grateful that I could like pinpoint that. Like, there is mom urgency and there's dad urgency.
There is.
And they are different.
And it's not only like mom and dad, but it's also personality things. Like, that factors into it a lot. Like me today, I got everybody up and going, and we got all things, and then we got to do this and do that. And it got to be, afternoon, and I realized I hadn't eaten yet.
Because you're too busy thinking
of everybody else,
care of other things. Yeah,
Kyle's always really good at compartmentalizing that I just can't do.
Yeah,
he can section off parts of his brain for different things, and for me, it's all in there like spaghetti.
Yeah,
and partially it's like the way my brain works and the way his brain works. But it's also partially like men are better at sectioning things off, and women are better at just everything. They take notice of everything, which is also why we're really good finders of our kids' stuff. Because it's one of those noodles. It's one of those spaghetti noodles in there.
Yeah, you're like, I saw it when I was doing laundry the other day. Let's go find it.
Yep.
Yeah. When our brain works.
Yep.
Yesterday I was trying to think of somebody's name, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I hear this name more than once a week. So it's like, why is my brain just dead right now? Like, it just died. I couldn't think of the name at all. Like, not even. Our brains are awesome when they work. But, oh man. So you have a holiday for us. What is our holiday for today?
Okay, so June 10th is Worldwide Knit in Public Day.
I love that that's a thing.
It's the second Saturday of June every year. So the objective of this holiday is to showcase knitting as an enjoyable activity.
I I think it should be to bring awareness to the wonderful thing that people do to make different things.
Knitting is okay for everybody. You don't have to be old. You don't have to be a lady. And the cool thing is because it's knit in public, you can kind of like network. If you're a knitter, you can go around and be like, oh, there's a knitter, and you can like share ideas or join groups or whatever. Because I have a sister-in-law who's the coolest knitter ever. She makes the coolest stuff.
Yeah.
We have blankets from her in the house. She's made me gloves, Kyle a hat, the kids' stuff. Like nice. Cool stuff. She's very impressive. So shout out to Janalee. This holiday's for you. Worldwide Knit in Public
There
Day.
You go. Yeah. Go sit on a bench and knit your amazing
socks.
Yeah, there you go. Socks. Yeah. You have mentioned that you love her socks.
I do.
And there's so I have a coworker who actually has little earrings, and it's like a ½ inch worth of little yarn with 2 little knitting needles, and I'm using air quotes because it's basically she just like clipped off the points of pins and stuck them in to make them look like knitting needles. The cutest thing ever. Her friend made them. I should tell her to wear those on Worldwide Knitting Day.
Yep.
that would be awesome.
Yep, that would be cool.
Okay, so our word of the day is Meldrop.
Meldrop.
What would you guess that would be?
Okay. Meldrop is, I'm going to sound confident here. It is when you dip a lollipop in chocolate so that it will form to the lollipop, and you flip it over and you stick it in one of the lollipop stands for it to cool, and the little drops of chocolate that fall off, those are Meldrops.
I wish those are Meldrops, because that would be way better than what I'm about to tell you.
Oh no.
Okay, so Meldrop is a drop of mucus hanging from a person's nose. You may have had a drop of mucus or snot hanging from your nose if you've ever had a cold, the flu, or COVID. Meldrop is the proper name that describes the pendulum-shaped drops that hang from the nose when it's running.
I'm glad that has a name. Oh, that's awesome. I love that that's a word. Because I get those sometimes.
That's crazy. Yeah. I've gotten them when I'm outside and it's cold and you're doing stuff, and then I think when you like come inside you can get it.
Yep.
And you like lean over something and then you lean back up and you're like, wait, there's something. Oh, there it is.
A little
There's
pendulum.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that fun? A little pendulum off your nose. Is the Meldrop.
All right, now you know the word. Use it in a sentence when you're telling somebody they got something hanging out of their nose.
Yeah, you can be like, you got a little Meldrop on your face. You can get weird looks.
They'll be like, what? I have chocolate on my face? That's great. All right, we'd like to introduce our guest. He is 13 years old in 8th grade. He likes the color orange and blue, and he loves math and geography. He has a new game he's finishing up on Scratch called Scratchymon, and we'll have a link to that game in the show notes. Here's our guest, Lorenzo. Lorenzo, would you like to say hello?
Hello.
Hi. It's good to have you here, Lorenzo. So how old were you when you started to think of ideas to code?
5.
5? Okay. Dang. That's pretty good. So when did you actually start coding?
Around 11-ish.
11. So what was your first coding program you used?
JavaScript. Just in some random website that we used in school.
Okay, so it was school that introduced you to coding.
Yeah, but I probably did do it earlier. Oh yeah, I do remember doing it in like kindergarten.
Okay, so what did you do in kindergarten?
I played this weird Minecraft coding thing called Hour of Code Minecraft.
Okay, that's awesome. That is very smart of your school to do that. And what did you enjoy about coding?
You can create your own world.
Is there a type of coding that you like? Like when you're creating something through coding, what do you like to code?
Well, I want to create something that entices the player. And
yeah, player. So you like to do video games?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. So you like to entice the player. What are some of the games that you've created?
Well, I've created Existing Simulator.
Yeah.
Taco Clicker.
Awesome.
Space Invaders Copy.
Oh, okay.
And some other ones that aren't that good.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you've created a lot. Over all the things you've created from when you started coding, how many would you say that would be?
How many projects I've started? 57.
Whoa, that's pretty good. That's awesome. So while you're creating these games, what do you enjoy most about the journey?
What I enjoy most is adding your ideas into the game.
Yeah.
Like, ideas are easy on paper, but when you get them done and in the game, it's really cool.
Oh, okay. So you start with an idea that is one sentence long, but when you go to code it, there's multiple sentences, multiple paragraphs to get your game created.
Correct.
Since you started coding young, if there was somebody who wanted to get into coding or their kids wanted to get into coding, what kind of coding is out there for them to find, and where can they find it?
All right. Learn Unity or Unreal Engine. Those are the two best things out there that help you with coding video games.
Okay. Okay, now they know kind of what to start at, but say their kid wanted to just learn, is there other things other than coding for video games? Like, what other kind of code, computer code is there, and what does it do?
Well, HTML5 is pretty good. I'd suggest learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but Bootstrap is also very nice. You can use those to create websites. JavaScript about creates everything. Videos on YouTube, Google Earth areas, and places all over the internet. You can press Ctrl-U on any web page to see the HTML, and it's pretty cool.
That is cool.
So what is your process? Do you have a process down when you are making a game?
All right, first of all, you get the idea and you write it on paper. And you take that paper to school, it gets beat up in your backpack and it's super hard to read. You translate the paper with what little scripts you have left and you put it on to your video game. Thumbs up.
All right. That's a good process.
So is the Scratch, does it use, like, do you just click buttons on Scratch to, like, code? Or do you have to type in code?
It's kind of hard to explain. It's like you drag blocks in and then type stuff.
Okay.
I kind of wish they had typing, though, because it would make it easier. It's just...
So it's a combination where you drag in presets, and then you type in specifics.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of wish that they basically had a text engine also that you could transfer to.
We couldn't even code when we went to school, so this is a huge step, which I think is awesome that they have you do that.
Yeah.
So how have you grown as a developer for all of these years that you've been coding?
Oh, don't try my first games I made. They aren't that good. They're like,
Yeah.
what's a good word to describe them? Hot garbage.
Hot garbage, that's a pretty good word to describe them. Have you ever thought to go back to remake them?
To tweak them and like make them better.
Yeah.
Well, I just get new ideas and want to make better games. I mean, I could go back and tweak them, remaster them, and make a better version. But I feel like now that I can make better things, I'm making better things.
Nice. Okay, so tell us about Scratchymon. Yeah, tell us about that. What started this project?
Pokemon. One of the things is it's a turn-based battling game, and I think this is one of the biggest things. I'm gonna make it so you can do both turn-based battling things or just whoever strikes first battling, which is a mechanic that lots of video games use. Stuff
So
like
is it player versus player, or is it player versus computer?
both.
Oh. Okay.
Well, it's going to be both.
What is it now?
Yeah.
Player versus computer, but yeah. I have been working on an online mode, which is much harder than you think.
So, with creating this game, what was your goal?
My goal in creating this game, well, I wanted Pokemon to be.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay. Yeah, that is nice.
So what is there anything else on the docket? What are you gonna code next?
A 3-dimensional video game,
Okay. Cool.
which is much easier said than done, but I've got the trigonometry laid out, and I have the calculations ready, and I've watched enough YouTube tutorials on how to raycast.
And can you do it on Scratch, or do you have to do it on a different program?
It's possible, very slow, but possible.
Cool.
Do you want to do it on Scratch, or do you want to do it on a different program?
Well, I can make it easier on a different program, but I kind of want to do it on Scratch because it'll be a challenge. Because that is not meant to code 3-dimensional huge worlds.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Give yourself a little
Well, that'll be
challenge.
really-
That's fun.
No.
So, last question. If there is a kid that out there that wants to start coding, what kind of tips and do you have for him other than what you've already mentioned?
Use Blender. It is very useful.
So, what's Blender?
It is a art program that lets you create models super easily.
Okay. So, any other tips?
Watch YouTube tutorials. They will help you know how to create games.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Lorenzo. We really appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks for being our first guest.
Do you want to spit off your Scratchymon?
Game location,
Yeah.
where people can find it if they want to play.
We can link it in the show notes, but
Just
you
link
can
it in the
just-
show notes.
Just list it off to everybody.
https://
Not that part.
www.
No, not that part.
scratch.mit.edu.
Okay. It's like you were being a teenager on purpose. Can you just say it normal?
I am a teenager. Scratch.mit.edu.
There you go. Good job.
All right. Again, thanks for joining us, Lorenzo.
You're welcome.
All right.
You menace.
Yeah, I'm a menace.
All right. In our trailer, we kind of said that we both have 2 kids, and you kind of got a very brief bio. We thought we'd give you a good, a little bit about us.
Yeah. So that when we reference something, you will know.
What we're talking about.
Yeah. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
You
I'll go first.
All right.
So my name's Emmeline. I was named after my great grandma, Lavon Emmeline, and I have 2 brothers and I have 3 sisters. I am the youngest sister, and I just have 1 brother below me. So it goes my oldest brother, then my 3 sisters, then me, then my youngest brother. And we grew up all over the place, and so I have friends that I know from everywhere because my dad was in the Air Force, which was exciting. We moved all the time. We lived in a lot of cool places, which I'm sure I'll mention in the podcast as I come up with stories of things.
Yeah.
Oh, a big thing about me is I have cystic fibrosis. It is a genetic disease that I got. It's recessive, so that means both of my parents had to be carriers of the disease in order for me to get it. But I'm the only one of my siblings to have it. So we won the genetic lottery, I guess. And I know I'll reference it in the podcast because I think it's important to bring awareness to things, and it's important.
And it's your life. Like, it's part of you.
It's part of me. Totally is. So a little bit about cystic fibrosis. It is terminal, but it's getting better and better. Science is always improving on it. We get new medicines and new therapies. It's really great.
Yeah, because I remember when I first met you, it was like 21 and you were, or maybe 23 and
23.
You were 20 at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh.
It's progressed ahead of me. And so I haven't ever reached the age that I'm supposed to die.
Yeah.
They're going to be like 150 and I'm going to be like, I'm getting too old for this.
At 110.
It affects my lungs and my digestive system. It affects the way that the body processes salt and water in the cells. And so that affects the way that your mucus is formed in your body. And you have mucus all over in your body. And so it makes it so that you get lung infections and it plugs up things in your digestive tract. And so those are the big main factors of it. And it affects, everybody's different. So that's just the way it affects me, Emmeline.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, everybody's a little bit different. But yeah, cystic fibrosis takes up a big chunk of not just my life, but my day-to-day, because I have to do treatments. I have to take medicines. So that I'm sure I'll talk about it. So maybe we'll have like a whole podcast about cystic fibrosis and then a whole podcast about Down syndrome or something.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and your vest is super fun. She has to do a vest. She puts on this vest, it inflates, and it shakes. So
shakes loose the really stuff so I can cough it out. So yeah, it's fun. Yeah. Kindy's tried it out.
Yeah.
I met my husband thanks to Kindy. She was like, hey, let's move to this one apartment complex. Do you want to? I'm going to be moving here because it's close to where I'm going to work. Do you want to move with me? And I was like, yes, I want to live with you. That's the best thing I've ever heard. So we moved to this apartment complex, and that's where I met my husband, and he's the best. And we have 2 kids, Lorenzo, who we heard with our wonderful interview tonight.
No.
He's my teenager, and he acts very teenagery sometimes, but he's the best. And then I have a 6-year-old, Clark, and he says some funny things sometimes. So I'm sure I'll include those as we podcast along. He is his own little... Already. They are both their own little selves, They have their own quirks and things they do and surprises that they give me, and it's just great. It's great to have kids.
Yeah.
So there's
and with cystic fibrosis, it's hard to have children. It was almost near impossible.
Yes.
So
yes.
otherwise, you guys would have had a buttload of kids.
We totally would have. If I didn't have CF, we'd have so many kids. So that factored into, because it was hard for me to get pregnant, but it also factored into when I got pregnant. Afterwards, I was very sick for a while. So
yeah.
We also have 2 dogs, and they're great. So I'll probably talk about them. Maybe we'll have a segment about that. So
they're fun. Yeah. They're awesome.
Okay, so Kendi, tell us all about you.
Okay, so I am, my extended family, I am third of 6. No, not third of 6. Third from the last of 6. So I'm like 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm 4th of 6. Wow. So I am a middle child, and I loved it because I could do whatever, and I kind of got away with a lot. So I just was left to my own devices, and it was the best. So, but yeah, and we're kind of all over. We live in different states and cities, and then my husband, I met him. I mentioned him earlier. His name's Matt. I met him at UVU, which is so crazy because it's already gone through. I went there when it was Utah Valley
UVSC
Community College, and I went there when it was Utah Valley University. So kind of crazy, but anyway. So we met there, and very short courtship, and got married, and we have 2 kids. So Anders, who is 4, he cannot wait to be 5. He's so excited. I don't know what this magical number is going to do for him or why he's excited. He's just excited. So he's 4. And then Emmeline, who is named after Emmeline, because she's just awesome. And when me and Matt married, I had asked him if ever we had a daughter, if we could name her after you, and he was totally down for it. So it was really easy when we found out Emmeline was a girl. It's like, oh, we're done then. We don't have to think of any names because we've already got it. So she's super cute. She is 1.5 years. She'll be 2 in July, and she has Down syndrome, and we had no idea. And when she was born, she actually was having issues breathing, and she had heart issues. And so for a little bit, they were talking about life flighting her to primary children's. And my poor husband had to witness this whole thing, and, just all the emotions, and was having a hard time. And I'm just sitting there in the bed, just in La La Land, and be like, it's okay, it'll be fine, coming off of being cut open because I did a C-section. And anyway, so it's been quite a roller coaster, and yeah, like we'll talk about cystic fibrosis, we'll talk about Down syndrome, and all the things that involve that, and I'll mention a lot of things about it. And I've met a lot of people with kids with Down syndrome, and they're just the cutest. She's just so cute.
She's the cutest. Oh.
She is the cutest. Blue eyes. I'm so happy she got her dad's eyes, because they're just gorgeous. And yeah, they both go to daycare. I work full time. I work at an accounting firm. Eide Bailey is what it's called, and they're national. They kind of go around purchasing other small CPA firms. And yeah, and then Matt, he owns his own flooring company, Shield of Armor Flooring, and has been doing that since 2015. Dang. He enjoys it. He loves working with wood. His dream, which I wish I could help come true, is he would love to have like a shop and just like make furniture, like just do nothing but making things with wood. Like that
sounds magical.
His dream, right?
I would love that too. We could have a dream together.
Yeah, there you go. Because then I could watch him make things, and I love. I don't know what it is, but I love seeing things being created. I think I could be like an accountant for a manufacturing company. I love watching the show, how it's made, and and like the things pour into the molds, or they take it.
They would show it on Mr. Rogers sometimes. You remember those clips?
Yeah,
where they'd take us to like the crayon factory or the
and they like pour them into the molds and stuff.
And then they chop them up and wrap them in the wrappers and put them in the little box. It was so cool.
Exactly. So cool. Yeah, I love watching that stuff. I love watching things created. I'm so fascinated with like the building of things and houses, and like I just am fascinated with that progression of
the process.
The process, and like when they have the thing in the mold, and then they've got to grind it down to make it smooth and or what have you, you know. So I think that's my love. I always forget to say that though, when people ask you what's your favorite thing to watch, and I always forget how it's made.
How things are made. I love it.
Yeah, how things are made. But
I want you to talk a little bit about your name. How you got it.
Oh yeah. So my name is Kindy. It's kind of weird. It's kind of different. Growing up, I don't know what inspired my parents to do this, but they kind of included the kids in naming the next child. So by the time I came around, there were already 3 kids. So they helped name me. One sister wanted Katie, and the other one wanted Cindy. And so on the way to the hospital to see me, I was already born, and they still kind of didn't have it figured out, which I think is kind of cool. They decided on the way to mix them. So it's Katie and Cindy put together. It's Kindy. So, and I've actually met other, I love it. I love having a weird name, but it's like a good weird name.
It's simple. It isn't like hard to spell or like when you look at it, you're like, I don't know how to pronounce that. Like it's easy. It's a good one.
Yeah. And I think that's what I like about it, is that you can see it and it's pronounceable. It's easy to spell. I think it's hard. Sorry for all you who have like weird spelling Susans out there. Susan. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah. So it's I've seen it in a magazine advertising for Hawaii. I've seen it. Somebody told me there's a street in Iraq that's named Kindy, which is weird and odd, but I've met a few people who have told me of people that are named Kindy. Actually, I met one lady who said her sister's name is Kindy. So,
whoa,
there's very few of us out there, but we're out there.
That's awesome.
Like the uniqueness, yeah. I was kind of hoping I was the only one, but that's okay. I guess if I'm to share, I'm glad it's not with a lot of people. I guess I'm weird that way. I like to be unique. I'm kind of just an odd person. You'll find out as you listen to this podcast how weird I am, but
we both have our little weird quirks.
We do.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah. It is. That's what makes us us. So it's fun. I did serve in the military. I guess I can say that. And then I served in Afghanistan. And I went to Korea for training, South Korea. That was fun. And
we're totally going to talk about that at some point. Like your deployment and stuff.
Military
that would be cool.
Experience. Yeah. That would be.
All right, so Kindy, you're up next with.
Yes, I've got the news story. So it is about 100-year-old lady, which it's amazing to me that we have more and more of those. So after her dog died, she was sad and quiet until her daughter found another dog for her. It was an adopted. So there's this program in California where they have older dogs. So they have this program called Seniors for Seniors. It's a special animal shelter in San Francisco. Johanna is the 100-year-old lady. And in San Francisco, they have the Seniors for Seniors adoption program to help senior citizens enjoy the mental health benefits of animal companionship. And so there was this little Chihuahua called Nashi. I think that's how you pronounce it, Gnocchi, with a reserved personality and no teeth, apparently. So this poor little dog, very reserved and has no teeth. And so after being rescued from a dog hoarding situation, they seemed like a perfect fit for each other. So they kind of helped each other become happier with their companionship. So Joanna, who is due to celebrate her 101st birthday with Nashi in a few days, couldn't have a dog as a child growing up in an orphanage in war-torn Germany. So she said, Gucci. Oh, so I think so the dog's name is Nashi, but they nicknamed it Gucci. The dog brought joy into the house, laughing about him running around and doing funny things, and then also him sleeping on her lap with her while she's in her recliner or sleeping in her bed. So that's kind of cute. I love that they allow dogs in because I'm sure she was at a care facility and they let her have a dog. I think that's great. Cute. That is cute. Because I think
it helps them both out because they need each other. That's great.
Oh yeah.
Seniors for seniors in California.
Seniors, yeah, which is awesome. We'll have a link in the show notes of the news, which is awesome. So if there's an organization you guys want to
us to highlight, let us know.
Yeah. Or if you want to donate, Seniors for Seniors. I don't know if they're taking donations. I'm sure they are, but what animal shelter wouldn't want money to help provide for the pets they have?
That's
true. All right, you want to say the quote, the show quote, to give our listeners a hint for what we're going to watch?
I won't do it in an accent this time.
It was fun.
Okay. You hit them and they get back up. I hit them and they stay down.
Oh, man, I'm so excited.
So be thinking about that.
To talk about. All right, spoilers, people. We are going to talk about Stardust, and we are going to talk about the things we've liked, we didn't like, if it's mom approved. And Emmeline has a tally board for us.
I do. So. Stardust is one of my favorite movies, guys.
It is so good.
It is. Let's see. A quick summary of it is there's this magical kingdom in England, and this boy, Tristan, lives next to it. He goes over into it to find a fallen star. The fallen star in this magical world is a woman, and they have adventures, and it's just wonderful to watch.
It is. Well, and I love how the narrator, Gandalf Grey, the guy who plays Gandalf Grey, I can't remember
Ian McKellen.
Ian McKellen says, this is not a story about a boy. This is a story about how Tristan becomes a man. And that's basically what it is. It's like you're following his journey to becoming a man, which is great. And I love... they really make his hair awful, because by the time the captain remaked him, his hair's awesome. Because
I actually watched special extras on the movie, and the producer gets up and he's like, we wanted an unknown as Tristan because well, you know, if we had gotten Orlando Bloom, everybody knows that Orlando Bloom is gorgeous and lovely. You put him in nerdy glasses or something and you know that
he's
gorgeous. Good looking, or he's gonna be good looking. There isn't like this huge transformation. And he's like, I wanted to get an unknown, which is Charlie Cox, everyone, who played Daredevil. He's like, I wanted to get this unknown guy to play this so that when he does transform from being like this nerdy, weird looking boy into, you know, the transition into becoming a man, that you didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. And they did such a good job, because before he looks washed out, they intentionally like just gave him the worst haircut, and they just did such a good job.
Too short of bangs, like it was awful.
Yeah, and then he appears and you're like, yeah, you look way better. The clothes they have
and
on
like
him
his
are
outfit
nice.
isn't like it's more fit for him. Like it's fabulous.
Yeah, it is. It is a great transformation.
So what do we want to get into first?
So I want to talk about the things that I loved about it.
Me too. Okay. Perfect.
Okay. So one of the things that I've got is the obliviousness to the magic. Even the dad, like he goes across this wall and he's like, it's just a field. There's nothing. There's just a field. I'm sure they've heard whisperings, which might be the fact that like you as the watcher are like, okay, there's magic. Everybody's okay with it. And that's the thing. Everybody's okay with it. He just walks in this marketplace and there's all these crazy miniature elephant and eyeballs, and he's like not even freaked out one iota. He's like, okay, this is normal, but it's weird.
But it's cool. I think it's like he's like, wow, this is cool.
Yeah,
I'd heard like about this myth, and it's actually true.
Yeah. So I did think that was cool. I thought it was funny that they're like totally oblivious to the magic, but that that it's there, and they're like they just accept it as fact. Like, okay, that's fine. There's this magical candle that gets me from one place to another. Okay, cool. I'm so focused on my mission that I'm not even going to be like totally blown away that this candle just transported me from one spot to another. Like just the obliviousness of it is kind of fun.
Okay, with Babylon candles, I got to ask you if you could be transported to anywhere. If you could use a Babylon candle.
Yeah.
Where would you go?
Where would I go? Could I go in the past, or is it just one location
just
to another?
A location.
I think I'd go to like some foreign country to vacation. I'd go to like not England, but like something like Switzerland. I'd want to go to Switzerland. Oh. Switzerland or like a Scottish type place. That's where I'd want to go. Where would you want to go?
I've always wanted to go to Australia.
Yes, me too.
Because I want to go somewhere where I actually understand people. Otherwise, I'd probably pick a different place. But like, they speak English there, or like a form of it. They speak Australian.
Yeah.
They speak a language I can understand, so I don't have to learn a new language. But I love their accent. I think it's pretty there. All the pictures I've seen, I think it would be so cool to go visit Australia. Yeah. So someday, Australians, when I get a hold of a Babylon candle, I'm coming to visit you.
Well, and that's the other thing. I've loved how he calls it a bubbling candle. That was another favorite, where he's like, I've got a bubbling candle, a Babylon candle. That's what I said. No, you said bubbling. I love that part where he like totally calls it the wrong thing.
So one of my favorite scenes was how Captain Shakespeare was threatening Yvaine and Tristan and faking out his crew. I love that scene where he's like threatening them and I'll chop off your fingers and they don't know that he's faking yet. And so Yvaine's sitting there like crying, like we're gonna die. And the crew's outside the door like cheering on the captain as he's threatening them. They're like, yeah, we want to see him die. Yeah. And so like that would be in real life. If that happened to you, I would be like freaking out like her. Like totally understandable.
Oh yeah. I love the whole relationship between the captain and the crew. Like they know he's a fancy pants, but they like this whole persona that they have built around this relationship is the best, especially when Tristan first, like one of my favorite scenes is where Tristan is sitting on the boat and they come back on board from selling the lightning and they're staring at him and he's like, oh, great. And he grabs Yvaine and the whole crew's like, yeah! And then the one guy, like the second hand to the captain is like, rolls his eyes like, come on, people, make this less obvious. It's just that I love that. And And what was the other part where they're leaving and he's like, the captain is saying like,
Pulls him aside.
Something. Well, no, it's
before.
It's after
he's
that
like, toodaloo.
where they're leaving.
It was lovely to meet you.
Yeah, and then the secondhand guy's like, and he's like, oh, make sure you don't wear that wench out. And the crew's like, yeah.
So Robert De Niro plays Captain Shakespeare, and you just love him. There's this part. There's this other. Like, I have so many favorite scenes. There's this part where Septemus comes and his men to come capture him, and Captain Shakespeare had just started up on his record player the can, and the whole scene like goes to this overture of the can, and Captain Shakespeare's in his room like dancing around, and the crew and Septemus's like soldiers are fighting on deck, and Septemus is looking for Captain Shakespeare and finds him dancing, and he's like, what is this?
Yeah.
It's so good.
It is, because before that he's like, be cautious because Captain Shakespeare has
a fearsome reputation.
Yeah, and he finds him prancing around in his closet, his hidden closet. And I love the part where after his crew scares him off, they're like, are you okay, Captain? And he's like so downtrodden, and one of the crewmen are like, we know you're a fancy, and they're like, oh, hiding him, and they're like, we still love you. And I love that part where we
love you, Captain. We always knew you were a whoopsie.
Yeah, whoopsie. Yeah.
Oh, I love that part too.
Yeah.
And he's like, but we love you, Captain. That's how they end it.
Yeah.
You are who you are, and we accept that.
And we still choose to follow you. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, but like when Yvaine and Tristan do leave, before the can part, there's this part where he sees somebody, because Captain Shakespeare, he's like, we know you're a star. There's people out there that won't be as nice to you as us. Anyway, so they get out there, and Tristan sees somebody on the road ahead of him. This is my ultimate favorite scene. Like this part, I'll rewind and watch it again, and rewind and watch it again. But he sees somebody ahead, and he like pulls her to the side and shoves her down on the ground, falls on top of her. She's like, what are you doing? He's like, I can't let anybody see you. But like the looks they exchange.
Like, yes.
And they're smiling. And she's like, are you tempted? And he's like, gets in really close, like, tempted about what? Am I going to kiss you right now? And then she's like, have you ever wanted to like cut out my heart and eat it? Or if it wasn't me, if it was a star you didn't know, would you be?
Yeah.
And he was like, am I tempted to kiss you? Like, I think that's what he was thinking. And she references this other thing.
Getting closer,
but oh man, that part where like just their chemistry is just,
it's good.
So good. Like Claire Danes and Charlie Cox, they had it. Like it was it was fun to watch.
Oh man, and the dialogue is so good, and I love the cinematography of it. Just the scene with the witch where it's like her black dress and it's flowing, but the main scene is like this beautiful lush green hills, and just amazing. And then the contrast with Septemus over the ocean with these like ice parts, and just like that scene, and how they did the slow motion with when he throws the dice up high and it slows down as it's falling because he's gonna die. It's so good.
They filmed in some really cool places. They filmed all around
England.
Did. Like the stuff they built, the sets, they were gorgeous.
They were gorgeous. They were very gorgeous. I loved it.
You say one of your other favorite scenes, because I got a couple more.
Okay. So another favorite scene, of course, is when he does confess his love for her and they kiss.
What about
Oh,
when
man.
she confesses her love to him when he's a mouse? I love that too.
Oh my gosh. I love that too. It's so sweet how that dialogue, and like she goes on to talk about her life of watching down below, and all the horror, but the one thing that's worth watching and knowing that there's hope is the love. And then she goes on to tell him that she loves him, and that love is so close to loathing. And
very, very easily mistaken as loathing. Oh, yeah, it's so good. And then, at the slaughtered prince, when he's like, I couldn't stop you saying those wonderful things, and I love you too. And then they have that like kiss, and it's so cute and wonderful.
Yeah. That is wonderful. And then the whole Ghost Brothers, which is like a comic relief in and of itself. And
so perfect.
I love how it is so perfect, like how they first started, and one of them's like, you can't still be mad at me for killing you. That was like 10 years ago. Like, what?
But it's like the perfect amount of comic relief. It isn't overdone. It isn't. Yeah. So good.
Especially when it's like kind of horrific, because this family, that's what they do to be the king, is to kill each other off. Like, what?
That's how it is in Stormhold.
Yeah, it's just a matter of fact.
When Tristan goes to like talk to Victoria after, him and Yvaine have confessed their love and shared a wonderful night, he leaves that morning to go talk to Victoria, and he does this thing where she comes up to him and she's like, oh, that isn't the star that I want. You know what I want. And he like takes her in his arms and he's like, and dips her down like he's going to do one of those dip smooches. And he gets her down there, and then he drops her and he tells her to grow up and get over herself.
Yeah.
I love that.
Is perfect. Yeah. Because man, is she selfish.
And then he turns to Humphrey and he's like, you guys are perfect for each other. And and even like Henry Cavill, he's great even as Humphrey. So
yeah,
I love him.
He did such a good job. Yeah.
And what he can do is just so varying.
It's vast.
He's got quite the
rap sheet.
Yeah. There you go, rap sheet. Okay.
All right, what's another favorite scene of yours?
That converging part where everyone's converging on the hole in the wall. Where Yvaine's going to it. And Tristan realizes if she crosses the wall, she'll turn into a rock.
Which, it's like, why is he running? Because he left her asleep. And
but it's been a while. It took a while to get there, and she probably woke up and he's like, I gotta make sure she doesn't cross the wall.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so anyway,
so
he's running to it, and then
his mom Una's going because she knows that if she crosses the wall, she's like, I gotta stop her.
Yeah,
Septemus is coming because he wants the stone that's around her neck, the necklace.
Yeah, and her heart.
And the witch, she's racing toward it because she wants the star's heart so that she can be young. Her and her sisters can be young and beautiful again. So, but that scene, everybody is going to the hole in the wall. And I love it. Like, the music's intense. Everybody's like rushing except for Yvaine, who's just plodding along like he did. Because like to her,
he doesn't love me anymore.
He doesn't love me. He decided he loves Victoria. And and so she's like
her whole
hopeless,
world is just
like she's shattered. But she's like, she still loves him, so she's still gonna go to present herself to Victoria. Yeah. And she doesn't realize what will happen to her. And everybody else does, and they're all like, hurry, get there. Oh, and the way that they filmed it, you don't know who's going to reach her first. I think that's the part that I love about it, is because, like...
Yeah, it's a mystery of it. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? It could end there with Tristan getting to her first, and then all's well. Or it could end there because the bad witch got her. Well, I guess the movie would have kept going to see if Tristan rescues her, but
Right.
anyway, yeah, it's kind of ingenious how they did that part.
Good filmmaking.
Yeah. Any others that you've got?
Probably the thing that I thought was most amazing acting wise was the way Mark Strong plays Septemus, and he does this part where he dies, right? The witch drowns him with a clay voodoo doll or something. Yeah. Anyway, and then Tristan's coming to attack Lamia, and to stop him, she picks the voodoo doll up out of the water and uses dead Septemus to fight Tristan. The coolest part is Mark Strong is doing all this like fighting with his eyes closed, his head flopped over, and all of his like limbs really loose except his fighting arm. Like that, he's just like swinging around and doing all these like awesome moves, and it's just like that acting right there. And I know it wasn't all Mark Strong. Some of it was, a stunt guy or whatever. But still, I can't even imagine myself being able to pull anything like that off ever.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
It was
the whole time I watch it, I'm
good.
like, holy crap, that is so hard. And he actually commented on it. It was so hard because I had to do all that with my eyes closed. It's so cool.
I wonder if he learned at first with his eyes open and then...
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure there was lots of practice and lots of choreography and do this then. But still.
Stop moving your arm. You're supposed to be dead. You can only move one arm.
But still to make like all of himself look dead, like make it that way. And then that one arm like doing its own thing. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah. That is true. That is some talent right there. Just all of them. Everybody did such a good job.
Oh yeah. I love it all.
In doing their parts.
But there is tell me one of your other favorites.
Well, I think that's it. I do love that. I do love the end part where it's like, it seems like all hope is lost, but then the love that she has for Tristan helps her to outshine so much that it kills the witch. Like that. Aww. That is very sweet.
It is like sweet. That. What do stars do best?
Shine. Yeah.
There is something I didn't like about the movie.
Okay, what's that?
It is that Tristan, after confessing his love to Yvaine, wakes up and goes to see Victoria to give her her present for her birthday. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Who the freak cares? What
pull does she have over you? And then I sat back and I thought about it and I was like, it shows some good integrity, which, he becomes the king. So it's good to have a king that follows through on the things he says he's going to do. And so I like that, but I hate it because I'm like, dude, she is so not worth your time. Yeah. But I hate that because the whole time I'm like, just stay with the Yvaine. Forget about her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I don't know if there's anything that I don't like. I guess what's that one witch with the tortoiseshell? Oh my gosh, she's gross. But that's the whole point. Like she's supposed to be kind of just this unkept person that just kind of gets by on her magic and that's it. Like that's all she's got going for her.
Yeah, she's pretty awful. That's her character.
Yeah, she does a good job at being just nasty. So
that's what we didn't like about it.
Yeah, okay, so our mom approved. At what age would we allow someone to watch this? It's pretty, like it's decent enough where
There isn't
nothing too bad
anything that you're
happens.
like. I mean, I guess Dishwater Sal loses her head at one point, kind of like, and runs around like a chicken with her head cut off, like without her head.
And then the Dark Queen shows her nasty face. So
Oh, yeah.
you got to have kids that are like mature enough to understand.
There's killing that happens
Yeah.
throughout, but it doesn't ever show like bloody goriness. It's just like stab,
So the violence-
die.
yeah, which I appreciate, and I do appreciate that the blood is blue. It's like a I don't know. It's a pretty crazy color, but I did appreciate that. I was like, that's nice that it's not this like bright red.
Yeah. So I don't know if probably like, well, see, like I turned it on with Clark in the room and he just, was disinterested. I think kids will kind of weasel themselves out of watching it if they aren't interested. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
8-year-olds and up, it's okay.
It probably depends on your kid. Like, I think girls might be a little more interested just because of the love story, and but I don't know at what point in my life I was like a sucker for love stories and would want to watch it no matter what
Right.
the other events were happening, because they're like, I'll do it now where I'll watch a movie with Matt and it'll be like more, but I like kind of adventure movies, but there'll be more fighting. But just because there is a hint of someone getting together, I am all in, and I will watch that until that happens, and then watch the rest to see what else happens. But yeah, if there is even a suggestion that two people will get together, I'm totally down for it.
So our mom rating will probably be pretty much anybody can watch this one. It's family friendly. It's a family friendly film.
But probably for sure nobody under 8.
Triple F.
Yeah, family fun film. There you go. All right, so tally board. So explain this to us. What does this entail? And then go with tell us about it.
Okay, so tally board is where I will keep track of things that happen multiple times in the movie or the show as I watch.
Okay. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be something specific in every movie. Okay, so what did you pick?
Okay, so for this movie, I picked how many times Tristan got knocked down. Do you want to guess how many times he got knocked down?
Okay. 6.
Ooh, close. 8.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Tristan got knocked down 8 times. How many times Yvaine was snippy with Tristan?
Oh my gosh, like 10 times.
You're good at this. 11 times.
11. Oh, okay.
Okay. Should I have you guess on all of them?
Yeah, sure. Why
Okay.
not?
Okay.
Kind of fun.
How many times there was the witches cackled?
Which is your favorite part?
It is. When they cackle,
witches
I
cackling.
join in and do my own little witch laugh.
That's awesome. I don't know, like 4 times?
6.
6. Okay.
Well, okay. How many times? This one's a big one. How many times a star's heart is mentioned?
I would say 20.
It's 15.
So I was way over.
Ghost Brothers appearances.
Oh, they were fun. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, 5. No, 6. I want to say 6.
9.
9. Okay.
Yep. Lamia uses magic. So Michelle Pfeiffer's character.
6 times.
22.
Oh my gosh, that was way off.
I think it's about 7
guess at
that
the
she
end she
uses
uses
it
a
and it
lot.
affects her like aging.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. That's the only thing I was thinking of. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're really close
still
with
way
that.
off.
The necklace or the stone is mentioned.
10 times.
Yep, 10 times. Good job.
Yeah.
How many times Septemus kills somebody?
4. 3 or 4. I would guess.
6. He kills 6.
6?
Yep.
Holy crap. Really?
So his brother right at the beginning.
Oh, that's right. And then the 2...
Secundus. And then he kills the bishop and his other brother, Tertius. And then he kills the soothsayer.
And then, okay.
He kills the one witch sister as he chucks a sword into her chest.
That's right.
But before that is another one, and I'm trying to think who it was. Oh, yeah, he kills Ferdy because he's annoyed at him.
Oh, that's right. That's right, because he wasn't talking to him. Duh.
He was monkey sounding at him.
Oh, I was thinking squawking. Huh? Chicken. He sounded like a chicken.
So, Septemus kills 6.
6. Okay.
Okay. Yvaine shiny, like glowing throughout the movie.
Yeah. I want to say 7 with that one.
11.
Oh, okay. Nice.
And then this category cracked me up a little bit. I called it Poor Bernard.
Moments where something sad happens to him. 5?
Yep.
5 times?
5 times.
Yeah?
Yep. Nice. You got them all. You're good at that. You're good at the tally board.
No. It's fun to guess, though.
Good. One thing that I thought was interesting in the little extra I watched at the end is Neil Gaiman, the author of the book that the movie is based on. He was on holiday in Ireland, and he saw a hole in a wall.
Oh,
and that's where he got the initial idea.
Oh, serious?
Yep. And he wanted to write a fairy story for adults. So
that's awesome.
And then he saw this hole in the wall, and that it got the ball rolling. So
this idea. Oh my gosh, that's fascinating. That is so cool.
And I did write down 2 of my favorite quotes.
Okay, let's hear them.
Okay. And you can tell me who said it.
Okay.
Reputations, a lifetime to build, seconds to destroy.
That was a good one. Captain Shakespeare.
Yep. And then this one. Murdered by pirates, heart torn out and eaten, meet Victoria. Can't quite decide which sounds more fun.
I love that you could barely hear Tristan. Not like that, but do the little breath chuckle. That was Yvaine.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Overall, good movie. Highly recommend.
Yes.
You watch it.
If you guys haven't seen it, if we haven't talked it up enough, I mean, you can
or
check it out.
Or
spoiled it enough.
Yeah.
It's a good one. It's worth it. I don't remember ever seeing previews for it. I don't even know how I came across it. Or did you come across it and introduce it to me? Or did we watch it together? I don't think we watched it in the theater. So it's an excellent movie that I don't think got the hype that it needed. It's one of those movies that's so good, and not many people have heard of it. So now you've heard of it, go watch it.
Go see it in your local streaming device location.
You can rent it on Amazon, probably.
Yeah. All right, so Daredevil season 2
is where our quote came from.
You hit them, they get back up. I hit them, and they stay down.
Nice.
Help us grow. If you like us, check that little like us or follow us, whatever it is that helps us to grow and helps you to get notified when we have a new episode out. Tell others, share all the good stuff. Links to what we have talked about will be in our show notes, and how to contact us. If you have ideas or stuff you want us to review, or there's something you want us to talk about, something you want to hear more of, you can email us at stuffwithmoms@gmail.com. We would like to thank Red Productions for the music, and we'd like to thank our listeners. We appreciate what you do for us, and just being there and listening and supporting us is very appreciated. We appreciate ya.
Okay, so I need to tell you this thing that Clark does when he pours. He like pours like a crazy maniac, but somehow he always gets it in the cup. Like it's magic. And so Kyle tells him he defies the laws of physics. And so tonight, when he asked for the milk and he said, Daddy, pass me the milk so I can defy the laws of physics. It was great.
That's awesome. I love that.